Welcome to the Friday Show. Friday Show.
Friday Show.
This week was National FFA Week. We thank everyone who participated.
2 Black Hawk helicopters were involved in a training accident in Utah. No crew was injured in the training accident.
Congratulations to the following students who performed at the solo ensemble contest this past weekend in Indianapolis. Aiden Claus, Carly Johnson, Valerie Hinkle, Mason Hinkle, Luke Ory, Addie Nethercutt, Madison Coy, Emily Schmaltz, and Courtney McGuire. All students received gold or silver on their performances. Extra congratulations to Carly Johnson and Mason Hinkle for receiving gold with distinction on their solos. Mason even received a perfect score.
The high school robotics team is going to a competition on the 26th at Wawasee High School. Good luck, team. A piece of a rocket is expected to hit the backside of the moon on March 4th this year, 2022, at 7:25 a.m.
This is not the first time that a human-made artifact has crashed into the moon, but it is the first time that it will have happened with an object that was not aimed at the moon originally.
Originally, when this story was first aired, news stations blamed SpaceX and its Falcon 9 rocket. Elon Musk of SpaceX received a lot of public backlash for failing to properly ensure that this rocket stage would eventually go into a safe, stable orbit around the sun as it should have. Forbes called Elon Musk's rocket out of control.
Other space agencies from around the world quickly entered the blame game, proudly explaining that all of their rocket stages are accounted for and that they have done everything perfectly to ensure something like this wouldn't happen. Elon took a lot of heat to the seemingly irresponsible error in calculation.
However, it turns out that this piece of space debris is actually not from SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, as previously thought. Our own John Giorgini from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California was the one to discover that China's Chang'e 5T1 rocket, which launched in 2014, was actually the rocket that this space debris came from.
Media publications are just now starting to modify their earlier accusations, directed at Elon Musk, to now target China's space program, the CNSA. This Chang'e rocket was named after the Chinese moon goddess Chang'e, and its mission was to land on the moon to test atmosphere re-entry for a future mission.
This piece of Chang'e, a rocket stage designed to propel the rocket and then detach, weighs 4 metric tons and will hit the backside of the moon's Hertzsprung crater on March 4th, 2022, at 7:25 a.m. at nearly 6,000 miles per hour. It will not be visible from Earth. While this impact will create a new crater on the moon, it is not expected to have any other effects. The moon, after all, is built for this type of abuse, suffering countless impacts in its long history.
Regardless of who is at fault, this upcoming impact has brought to our collective attention that the thousands of pieces of orbiting space junk hurling through space at astronomical speeds can be quite dangerous for future space missions. The International Space Station has already been hit by a tiny piece of space junk, chipping a window in the cupola. It has also had to swerve to avoid other space junk. The movie Gravity, starring George Clooney and Sandra Bullock, also highlights the dangers of orbiting space junk.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Late in the night on Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, and approximately 40 people have pronounced dead from the initial attack. NATO has brought up some of its numbers of arms on the eastern flank facing Russia. President Vladimir Putin warned that anyone listening that any interference would lead to consequences you have never seen in history. Lithuania has declared a state of emergency due to its nearness to Ukraine. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called it a barbaric attack on an independent nation. Many countries, excluding China, threatened Russia with massive and targeted sanctions. Ukraine's leadership said at least 40 people had killed so far in what they called a full-scale war. Vladimir Putin said Russia does not intend to occupy Ukraine but plans to demilitarize it. Soon after his address, explosions were heard in the cities of Kiev, Kharkiv, and Odessa. Russia said it was attacking military targets. Vladimir Putin urged Ukrainian servicemen to immediately put down arms and go home. Ukraine's border agency said that the Russian military attacked from Belarus. The agency said Ukrainian border guards fired back in return. Russia had troops in Belarus for what Russian and Belarusian officials called joint military guards. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg called Russia's attack a brutal act of war. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said Putin had unleashed war in our European continent. Pioneer AV Club extends our condolences to those lost and the families of those who have lost loved ones.
The boys varsity basketball team won last weekend against Winnipeg.
Tonight is their senior night. Have a great night, team!
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are back with this or that segment.
First up, we had school lunch versus packed lunch. The majority of staff members chose to pack a lunch, where the students were split 50-50.
Second was laptop versus desktop. Most people choose to go with laptop. It's easy transport.
Next, branching off of the desktop question, Windows or Mac. Both results mirrored each other exactly, with the majority of 56.4% going with the Mac.
Next is a common question asked at most grocery stores. Paper or plastic? The majority of staff chose paper, whereas the majority of students chose plastic.
Last, leather or cloth seats. Most people choose leather seats.
I would too. Leather seats are where the heat and cooling seats are.